3, 2, starting up. Post-game live. MLK Matinee Edition. CP from the Knicks Fan TV. My man Jake Lennox from the Knicks Podcast. Knicks go down 127-109 on this MLK Day. Jake, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling pretty good today. CP, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. First and foremost, happy MLK Day. You know what I mean? Happy MLK Day to everybody out there celebrating. We could certainly use a guy like MLK in this day and age, especially in this climate. But listen, man, 127-109. Obviously Thunder's in a whole nother world, whole nother class than us. You know, you got Paul George, you got Westbrook going off. I mean, 15 for 27 from downtown. Thunder shot 50% from the field. But there's some things that you would like from the Knicks, man. To tell me a little bit about what you like from the squad today.
Just my original takeaways from the game as far as Knicks perspective comes. I mean, as Knicks fans, it's always fun to see a team like the Thunder come in like a real legit team, see what they're actually like and what we can actually hope for the Knicks to be one day. But in a tanking effort, this is exactly what you want to see from the Knicks. I mean, we got washed a little bit today, but towards the end, we weren't forcing any of the veteran players. Saw a lot of the young guys. We saw some chemistry develop, and there was a lot of good takeaways to take from the game. I'll get to them, but I think the main takeaway from today's game is a lot of encouragement. You could look at the young talent that we have and be like, yeah, they're raw. Don't get me wrong. They're definitely raw, but they can ball. They can hoop. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. You definitely saw inexperience playing out, but like you said, against a team like OKC, who's well-balanced from top to bottom, a team who has championship aspirations, but obviously we know that the West is stacked, but, Paul George, Westbrook are a formidable duo. Part of the story notes that came out of today's game, Fizdale was asked about the point guard situation, about Frank's confidence, and he committed to Moutier for the rest of the season starting at point, man. What did you think of that? And obviously we've seen some good play from Frank today. So what you think about the comments by Fizz and then Frank's play today?
Well, the comments by Fizz come as no surprise. I mean, everybody knows Moutier is Fizdale's boy. They go together like two peas in a pod, man.
He said he was going to get him right, man. He said he was going to get him right.
My two boys too, they're my guys. I ride or die with Fizdale and Moutier. Everybody knows that. That's a joke, but
definitely a joke.
But yeah, it's not surprising. Eat what you kill. Moutier has been like the one guy in the Knicks who's been like the go-to guy. So I see no problem with it. But again, as long as Frank gets his looks, like today, Frank came off the bench, saw 30 minutes. I have no problem.
Yeah, I mean, when I first, saw those news, I just feel like overall the organization is not that high on Frank. I think the writing has been on the wall since Moutier got here. They brought in Moutier immediately, hoisted him into the starting rotation, ahead of Frank, ahead of Trey Burke, even ahead of Jared Jack, who had been there. So to hear this, on one hand, I'm happy that Fizdale is finally seems like he's committing to a rotation because he also said that he's going to keep Canner out of that rotation in hopes.
It's only about 50 games in. It's about time.
It's about time, right? Training camp is finally over. Training camp is finally over.
Now that we know what we have about 50 games into the season, it's good that we finally commit to something. It's cool.
I mean, I take the news as this, bro. I think they want to see if Moutier will fit into their backup plans in free agency should they not get any of the top dogs and should they not be in a draft position to draft John Morant, whether it's too high or they pick too low. So I think they're giving Moutier a one final serious look for this second half. And I don't know where that leaves us with Frank. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure where that leaves us with Frank. But I mean, what did you take from those news in terms of the Frank Moutier dynamic?
To be honest, I didn't take too much away from it. I think that it is what it is. Fizdale loves Moutier. That's no secret. And I do have my theory that, Frank is turning into, to keep it Fizdale-oriented, I think Frank's turning into a bit of a fall guy, like Phil Jackson's fall guy. Frank was the major mistake that Phil Jackson made, so we have to throw him under the bus just to make sure that the regime change is complete. So that's kind of what I take away from the whole Moutier experiment. I think that they're trying to make Knicks fans kind of debate over and compare over what Moutier and Frank are. And Moutier's, he's 3-4 years older, so his game's a lot further along. But I think that if you really watch the game today, I think it was like very clear what Frank is capable of. And it kind of scares me a little bit with the fact that the Knicks don't seem that committed to Frank, because I still think he has a lot to give to the game. And I know there's a large segment of Knicks fans that don't have a lot of faith in Frank, but yeah. I'm not one of them. I see a lot of good things.
I mean, listen, you saw it in the game today. It was kind of like a tale of 2 point guards out there. And I don't take too much stock in a plus minus as a statistic by itself. But I mean, to see Frank as a +3 while most of the team was a -15 or worse. You saw his impact out there in the court today. He had to go up against Westbrook. He had to go against PG-13. You know you're not going to shut those guys down. But I thought he was formidable. Against Westbrook. He did his best against PG. Offensively, he got the offense involved much better than Moutier did. Moutier can score, don't get me wrong. Moutier got in the paint. He pushes the pace. He does what Fizdale wants him to do in terms of that. But I think Frank overall played better than Moutier. I'm not saying he's the answer going forward, but I think he played better than Moutier out there today. And you just got to give credit where it's due.
I don't think there's a doubt he played better than Moutier today. And it's what I liked about the game today, that, Fizdale, and, I'll give Fizdale credit for this, that in the second half when it was a wash, the game was wire-to-wire, 20-point game pretty much the whole way. He sat the guys that we know what they are, the Moutiers, the Enes Canners, like the whoever's, and he kind of inserted the Tim Hardaway Jr.'s, kind of sat on the bench to make room for guys like Frank and Trier, Mitch Robinson. But as far as Frank goes, like today, I thought you saw a heavy dose of like what he can accomplish when he's playing with a good head on his shoulders. Like he has a good savvy to him. Like he can jump in front of people, draw charges. He makes some good passes. He had like 5 shots that were like halfway down and just like popped out of the rim.
Yeah.
Like if he can ever get that touch going and like become a 15-point a game type of, like he scored 9 today on 4 of 12, and I swear 3 of those buckets were literally down the basket before they popped out. Like today was a great game for him, and I was surprised because I saw that he was eating today. Like he was playing real well, but I didn't understand like the impact that he really had. And I know that plus minuses can be a little bit misleading, but the guy played 30 minutes in a blowout, and he came out with one of the only pluses on the plus minus side. He was +3 today going against Russell Westbrook. And, those bad boys in OKC. And, he looked tough today. I'm not going to lie.
He did. But, the question is, I look back at the team, at the organization. Do they have confidence in this kid? Because it just seems like they're not ready to commit to him to even try this experiment out for a long term. I think if they can get a chance to get Kyrie, they get a chance to even get Kemba Walker in here, I think they're going to bite at it if they have the opportunity. I also think how can you look at what Ja Morant is doing right now at this level and potentially pass on him if you're in that 3 through 5 range? I don't see how you can do that.
I don't disagree. I mean, if it comes down to Kyrie, man, I love Kemba, but you got to look at his age at 31. I don't think he's like the greatest fit for this team. But like, there's the New Yorker in me, the New Yorker in my brain thinks about Kemba Walker in a Knicks jersey, and my head just wants to explode. Like,
Facts.
Literally, like going to war, old Tim's batted boots, like Cameron says.
Yeah,
like, literally, the New Yorker in me would kill. Just throw on my Timbs, throw on my North Face, and just go to the Garden and watch Kemba Walker do that step back at the buzzer in the Madison Square Garden. And Knicks would literally be the most New York greatest.
It'd be a beautiful thing, man. It would be a beautiful thing, man. But, not to make it a Frank Telethon like sometimes we have a tendency to do on this show. But just calling it out. The team got washed today, but we had to point out some of the bright spots. And Frank was one of the bright spots in this tough loss, man. But before we get back into the game, shout out to everybody in the chat. Happy MLK Day. We getting some people in here, getting a good crowd in here. Frank Sandberg, what's going on? Reaper Man, T. Williams, Pedesance, what's going on? Famous, CP the Artist, Mark Swift, a lot of the regulars in here. So I see a lot of people didn't have work today, so that's a good thing. Gold Eagle 99, appreciate it. What's going on? What else, Jake? ISO had a good outing today. 16 points, 8 assists for ISO, career high. So it was good to see that at least he's capable of getting some dishes. You saw him and Mitch connect a couple times in that alley, so that was cool to see.
I love that. I saw that. I paid close attention to the chemistry, and the second round draft pick and the undrafted draft pick was Alonzo Trier and Mitch. They look good together today. They seem to have like a good rapport. And the more Mitch gets like adjusted to the NBA, I'm excited about Mitch, man. He looks so good.
Welcome back, Money Mitch. Welcome back, Money Mitch. And for those of you who've seen the graphic, the first tee is up on the Knicks Fan TV store. Shameless plug, but get your Money Mitch Please t-shirts available on Teespring. Video link. That the merchandise link is in the video description, so hit that video description and get your Money Mitch t-shirts, man. But no, in all seriousness though, I thought Mitch looked pretty good in his return. Obviously, they said that they're gonna take things slowly with him, make sure he's still well conditioned. The nagging injuries has been a problem all year. Something I figured was gonna happen, but we saw him out there again exerting himself on the defensive end. I think he picked up 2 blocks today. So again picked up the 2 nice alley oops from ISO. Had a couple nice dunks. So yeah, Mitch was all right, man. Mitch looked all right, man.
We know what Mitch is, and but it's also like the classic disparity between a guy like Frank and a guy like Mitch. Like you pick up a guy who's 20 years old in the second round, he's a little bit raw, but you could see the natural tools that he has, and you're like, okay, he was a second round draft pick, but the sky's the limit with him. But Frank, getting picked at 7, has all the natural tools in the getting picked at 8, excuse me, has all the natural tools in the world. But you picked him with a lottery pick, and you see the New Yorkers be a lot less lenient.
We just don't have the patience, man.
Yeah, no,
we just don't have it. We just don't have it. It's funny. I wonder if we would still be on these Vonleh and Moutier bandwagons if they had started their careers here.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Hell no. You think that if we drafted Moutier, just take it back to 2015, and we drafted Moutier at 4, and
Facts.
He played with the Denver Nuggets.
Nah.
In the Madison Square Garden, you think
they be run out of town, bro.
You're out of your mind, bro. There's no way they'd be in a Knicks jersey.
Facts.
Oh, by the way, shout out to the matinee. This is my matinee.
Matinee, yeah, I got my little matinee drink on too, man. Cheers, bro. Cheers to not having to work today.
Salute.
You know what I mean? Salute, man. What else? Gary Miller, what's going on? So I see some people still watching at work. Hope you guys don't get in trouble, man. Call us up, man. 657-383-1509. To those of you who are at home watching us, wherever you guys are watching us from, hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up for your boys. And definitely appreciate the support. Arnold Farrar, I appreciate the support. Everybody watching on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, KnicksFilmSchool.com, posting and toasting what's going on. Gary Miller says, where's Jay Ellis? Jay Ellis is recording his podcast, man. He's recording his podcast. He's got Ashwin Ramnath, a.k.a. Schwinny, from Posting and Toasting on the show today. So that should be a good one. But shout out Jay Ellis. Couldn't be here today. But we got Jake here. And Jake is going to be joining us more often than not on this channel. So I'm happy to have him here, man.
Yeah, we got JL, Jake Lennick.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. We don't got Jay Ellis, but we got Jake Lennick, man. Yeah, man. What else? Well, let's go to the phones. Kevin from North Carolina. He wants to talk about Ja Morant and Zion. Kevin, what's going on, man? How you feeling, bro?
What's up? Y'all can hear me?
Loud and clear, man.
Yeah, I wanted to call in to see what y'all, I want to get my opinions too, but I wanted to see what y'all thought about the whole Zion Williams versus Ja Morant debate. I see a lot of people talking about it in the comments. I've been watching both of them throughout the season. I want to see what y'all think about it.
I mean, listen, man. Zion, to me, if we get the #1 pick, how can you not take him, Jake? How can you pass up on this kid? I see a lot of people in the chat talking about he's just a dunker. I watch these games. I don't see that, man. I'm sorry. I don't see it.
People who think he's just a dunker don't watch him. He has game beyond being.
Dude has game.
He has point forward mentality. But the thing is that people are saying that Zion is locked up as the #1 pick in the draft. I think it's a media-driven narrative. I don't really think it's like as much of a lock as people think. And I think Knicks, if we can get our hands on a guy like Ja or R.J. Barrett, who's more refined and can make more of an impact on day one. I mean, I feel like Knicks fans will fall in love with Ja or RJ a lot quicker than they would fall in love with a guy like Zion. I think they'd be more patient with a guy like Zion, knowing how raw he is, but I still think that we would ultimately like a more refined guy more. But Zion, he's good. He can ball. There's no doubt about that.
Right, and that's my thing about it. I'm watching these games. I'm down here in North Carolina, so I'm watching these ACC games. I'm watching Zion. That stuff where he's just a dunker, that's some nonsense. But I watch this game, and I'm like, yo, man, if we get him at #1 to do the 6'7", man, I'm just like, yo, a 6'7" power forward. I'm just like, people's like, oh, he's 285, this, that, and the third. I get it, but if you actually watch these games, Mike and Coach K, they got him running out the post at the 4.
Yo, the dude has handles. I got the highlights up here right now, man. The dude has handles. He can play outside. He can play inside. I mean, what more? Like, what more we do? He can play defense. His defensive acumen is good.
Yeah, I agree. I just think I'm sorry.
You go, man.
Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think his game, like, he has an overall game. I do believe that. I'm just not sure how well that would translate to the NBA against, like, you know, he's going against like 6'8" centers. Like, he's not going to be able to rise up on a dude like Joel Embiid, or DeAndre Jordan, or Rudy Gobert, such and such. But
that's a fair point.
When I'm watching Ja Morant, I'm watching Ja Morant. I'm just like, man, like, some people in the chat, they're like, you know, Ja Morant's trash. What are you talking about?
No way.
I think some of the people that have never. I think some of them have never played basketball, because when you play basketball with a guard that gets everybody involved, it makes the floor so much easier. And I think everyone, Porzingis, Knox, everybody would benefit with playing with a guy like Ja Morant. I'm not saying I take him over Zion, but I think his game is being very they're definitely talking down.
Well, people are looking at the level of competition, man. People are looking at him playing in these high school gyms, but I don't let that defer me, man. I don't let that deter me. Man.
Also, with it has to do with a lot of exposure. You're not seeing a lot of Murray State games on ESPN.
Exactly.
Like, Zion is all over ESPN. He's on the top 10 plays every single night.
Right.
360 dunk. Like, Zion is a sexy name right now, and he's drawing comparisons to these guys. Right. But there is stuff, like, to say Zion is not a flawed basketball player would be wrong. Like, you know, you want to bring up a guy like Markelle Fultz, who was an absolute savage in college. That dude was a savage in college. And now his shot is completely broken. His confidence is lost, yada, yada, yada. The story goes on. But Zion's shot in college right now, you look at it, the guy doesn't get 2 inches off the ground when he shoots, and he's 6'7". He's going against these 7-foot athletic freaks. Like, he's going to get that shot blocked on the perimeter. Yeah. And he wants to draw comparisons to guys like LeBron or Blake Griffin or whatever. These guys were point-forward mentalities, but like, these guys were more than just athletes who had great size. They also had incredible, like LeBron, he's not great because he's 6'9", 275 and runs like a racehorse. He's great because he sees the floor better than almost any guy in history.
Yeah, that's true.
He can finish around the rim. He's ambidextrous. Not saying Zion can't do these, but it's a lot worse, and he has a lot more to work on to get to that level. So Zion is raw. I'm not saying he'll never get there, but he's raw, and it's a risk. Yeah.
It's certainly a risk. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. It's certainly a risk, man. But I see a lot of game with this kid, man. But I do understand the trepidation in his size, how that translates to the next level at the 4 when he's playing with guys much bigger than him. But to see him dominate at each level like this, he just comes off as a generational talent, man. I don't know. He just comes off as a generational talent to me. I get the Blake Griffin comparisons, because Blake was a beast at Oklahoma. Now, don't forget, Blake was a monster at Oklahoma, and he still turned out to be a good player, an all-star player. But is he a franchise player like what people are touting, Zion up to be? I don't know if Zion could meet those expectations, but I'm willing to find out.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be mad with the pick, but I think Ja Morant should get some looks. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's all.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
You're a Knicks fan in North Carolina. You got a close eye on those Duke boys.
That's a fact, man.
Man, who you tell it, man? I'm watching it, man. But one thing I will say, I don't want R.J. Barrett at all. He remind me of Timmy. This dude shot like 9 for 26 the other day. I was like, what?
I'm seeing a lot of the comparisons. I appreciate it, Kevin. Have a good day, man.
Well, let's not ignore the fact that that Zion got poked in the eye the other day and sat out for 2 games. I wasn't a big fan of that move either.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're trying to keep him on ice. All right, next caller up. We're gonna hear from this guy hasn't called in a while, Jake. This is your first time hearing from him, but he goes by the name of the president of the Frank Ntilikina fan club. My man Max from the Bronx. Max, how's it going, my man? How's it going?
Yo.
How you feeling, bro?
Yo.
Yep.
Yo, good. Yo, that West Coast strip messed me up, man. It's like, I don't know. You guys came at weird times, this and that. I couldn't get, like, every time I tried to call, it was like, it was over.
Max, by the time you try to call, we sleep, man. I couldn't stay up and start the post-game show at 1 o'clock in the morning. No way, man.
Yeah, I worked 3 to 11, so I'm like,
yeah, see, that would have been good for you, man.
During that West Coast trip?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a lot of things going on. But let me talk about Fizdale.
Yeah. What's your take on these comments? Fizdale came out. He committed to Moutier for the second half. I know you were disappointed about this. What's your takes, Max from the Bronx?
Okay. All right. So let's take Fizdale in like the season, right? So we could talk about it. Let's be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is a used car salesman, right? So, and I think
Jake would appreciate that.
It's a fact.
Max, you there? Oh man, we lost Max.
He was on a roll, man. I like that.
Oh, we got him. Max, I don't know. We lost you, man. Go ahead, start over, man. You said Fizz was a used car salesman. Go ahead, start from there.
Nah, man, what's going on?
Yo, Max, you racing dirt bikes? Yeah, you there?
What?
Oh, yo, we can.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, man. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. In the Pat Riley tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to care about defense, right?
I don't know, man. Max, man, you gotta get rid of the Boost Mobile, man. You gotta up your cell phone,
Clearly,
man.
he likes people who shoot. Huh?
Yeah, we getting bad connection from you, bro. I don't know if you're in a good area or what, man. We getting bad connection from you, man. You need Verizon, Max.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I actually got Sprint.
Oh, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. That's exactly the problem, man. But go ahead. We can hear you now. Man. Go ahead. Let's try again.
All right, you hear me good. All right. So, all right. He's supposed to have a defensive mindset because he came from the Pat Riley tree.
Mm-hmm.
You let Tim Hardaway do whatever the hell he wants to do on the court. He's the reason they lost the Wizards game. Let's be honest. They lost the Wizards game because of David Fizdale putting Tim Hardaway in at a last possession defensive position. Everyone knew what was going to happen with the players that was on the court, except for Fizdale, probably. Right? So now you come out and say, okay, I think Moutier Frank is a backup, which is cool. However, when you're down 16, I was looking at the game, right?
Yeah.
And I went to the bathroom, I came back, they were down 16.
Mm-hmm.
That was 2 minutes. I don't know how you down 16. How you down 16? I just literally, it was 2 minutes.
No, I did see that. It was like 10-8, Jake. And then all of a sudden it was like 26-10. Yeah. I was like, bro, what happened here?
I will give you my thing on Fizdale and his quote-unquote defensive mindset. Like, Fizdale's definitely a used car salesman when it comes to, like, saying these quotes that, just play to our classic Knicks mindset. Like, we're going to be tough. We're going to stress the defensive culture. Then he implements a 2-3 zone. We saw the return of the 2-3 zone today. 2-3 zone. The 2-3 zone has not been part of the NBA since 1970, and it's for good reason, especially in today's day and age when everybody can shoot the 3 ball at a 40% clip. see it in the NCAA because people are a little bit more raw. They can't shoot the 3-ball as well. And you can also stick your center right in the middle of the paint with, no problem. In the NBA, we have something called the 5-second rule, and that's a technical foul. So you can't do that. So he puts the 2-3 zone in, and then any team that has like a decent coach will be like, okay, just swing the ball around the perimeter. If you get the ball to the foul line, break down the 2-3 zone, then you get easy buckets, and then you'll get open look 3 all day long. Like the 2-3, like when he started doing the 2-3 zone and tried to say like it was him thinking outside the box, that like literally is what I think of Fizdale. Like he thinks that a high school formation is like thinking outside the box in the NBA. Like, come on, dude, that's gotta be better than that.
But I told CP this earlier. I mean, a while back. I said when Fizdale's doing something right, let's use the Greg Popovich rule, right? Would Greg Popovich do what Fizdale does at all? And the answer is no. There's no way he will play Moutier all these minutes. And I don't care. Like, I got over the Moutier thing. But the fact that you don't put in 2 of your best defenders in the last possession to stop somebody, and it's like so simple. It's like it's so easy to do, and you don't do it. I don't.
And on a devil's advocate, what do you say to somebody who says, because we talked about this in our Knicks fans of the round table mid-season report. You could check out the replay on the top left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, so Macri was on there. Jonathan Macri, Knicks Film School, is my guy. He looks at it as, what if it's a teaching moment from Fizdale to these kids that are deficient on the defensive side of the ball, a Knox, a Timmy, what if he's trying to get their defensive acumen up? What do you say about that?
Okay, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
First of all, Tim Hardaway's not like a kid. He's like 25, 26.
It's a fact.
So that is what he is already.
Going into his prime.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about in the NBA grand scheme of things, not in life. He was young in life. You know what I'm saying? But in the NBA grand scheme of things, he is what he is. He's terrible at getting out of shooters. He's terrible on switches. He's like the problem is we talk about the guy. I was watching your roundtable. I forgot his name real quick, but he said that we're so focused on Canner, we don't even look at Timmy's defensive. Timmy's just as bad as Canner. It's just on the perimeter. He does the same dumb things. He can't guard. He can't do nothing, right? So this year, everyone knew this year was a lost year, right? But I'm gonna tell you something. This is gonna be like a I would say a prediction. Fizdale better start playing the right way, or else we're not gonna get nobody. You got the city, you got the money, more than likely. But I'm telling you, NBA players are not that dumb. You see how he's using people? It's gonna look bad. Like he doesn't know what he's doing, and that's bad, man. And I don't know what it is about we hire coaches and they're semi-successful outside of New York. And then they come here and they just start doing things like 2-3 zone in the NBA where everybody shoot threes. It's like dumb stuff, man. Like at some point, he needs to step up his game, and so we can actually attract somebody. Because everyone knew the Knicks was going to be bad, but they're getting killed every night. It seems like at the same things, wide open threes, pick and roll. Make an adjustment. Make an adjustment.
Can't knock him. Can't knock him, Jake.
You want?
I say can't knock him. I mean,
I
can't argue with your sentiments. You know what I'm saying? I can't argue with your sentiments.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
Listen, he did one smart thing. He did one smart thing, though, right? You know what I'm about to say. CP, if you know me, you know what I'm about to say. Costco version of Allen Iverson doesn't play no more. That was smart. He realized.
Talk about Trey Burke.
He don't bring nothing to the table. So you realize if he's not scoring, that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
And then I think he said a quote that really was all about Trey Burke. He said, we have players who's on their last year of the contract that just wants to get out and get numbers. Oh, it took you 30 games to figure that out? But me, CP, Jay Ellis, and Jake, we can figure that out, that old Trey Burke doesn't want to shoot because he wants to get a contract extension. I mean, things like that. I don't understand why he don't get that shit, man. Seriously.
I mean, good points, man, and appreciate the call, Max. I mean, listen, you can't argue with what he's been saying, Jake.
Nah, he's right. He's definitely right on Fizdale. And like the one thing I'll disagree with him on Fizdale is I like the point he brought up, like the coaches that had success outside of New York comes to New York and they're on a whole bunch of other things that like what the hell are they doing? How'd they find success outside of New York and like implement this type of rotation and like look lost? But Fizdale's not one of those guys. Fizdale was not a very successful coach outside of New York. He completely destroyed and dismantled the Memphis Grizzlies, which was a consummate playoff contender. They were a finals contender for a while, low-key, but he tried to tear them apart. He lost the trust of his players. He lost the locker room and was fired after a season. Everybody wants to call it a fall guy, but if you look at the record and you look at what happened, it's just facts. He wasn't a good coach there. And then he was the assistant coach. Yeah, you could say he's from the Pat Riley coaching tree, but he was the assistant coach on a super team, Heat team that was led by the player who may be the most uncoachable player on the planet right now. So,
hey, who are you talking about?
LeBron.
I just listen. You know, the talent is not good. We know that.
Well, I'm not blaming Fizdale for a bad year. I don't want that to get twisted, but I'm just saying, like when Fizdale's on some other things, it doesn't surprise me. I don't think he's a very good coach.
Yeah, you can't. This is the thing though. Like he's gonna learn. Like I keep saying, he's gonna eat those words, man. You can't come in and talk about we're gonna protect his house, we're gonna have defensive accountability, guys are gonna be playing hard, blah 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 blah, and you don't hold them accountable for those very same principles that you preach. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like the coach should not go. And I'm giving this coach all 4 years. I've been saying this ad nauseum on the show, but he should not be above any questioning or any criticism. He shouldn't be. You know what I mean? And I think Max has hit it on the head with those, man. Before we get to Ari, shout out to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Any new subscribers, any new watchers, leave a hashtag new in the chat so we can shout you guys out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, Knicks Fan TV, the Nick of Time Show, the Knicks Podcast. Jake, tell them where the podcast is at, man, where they can find the podcast.
We haven't done one in a minute, so it's a little bit outdated, but once we get it rolling again, we're trying to stream it on YouTube Live. You get your early action on, type it into your YouTube, subscribe right now. It's up and running. We just haven't made videos yet. It's coming in about a week or two, though. Just type in The Lennox, TheLeknicks. You could also find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, the TuneIn, Stitcher, pretty much all your basic podcast outlets. And on Twitter and Instagram, we're at _Lennox, TheLeknicks. All
right. Little shameless plug, all good.
Plug.
So here is and sorry, my video is a little bit delayed for those of you watching. Just bear with us. Here's a quote from Canner after the game. Cannon said he's not happy with being out of the rotation. This is from Ian Begley, ESPN, which he learned from a conversation with David Fizdale after the Knicks' return from London. He said he loves New York, but wants to play. And that he'd let his agent, Mark Bartelstein, remember he switched agents last year. He said he'll let his agent and the Knicks handle the next steps, a.k.a. trade me or buy me out, is basically how this is looking with Cannon, man. What's your reaction to that, Jake?
I kind of touched on this the last time I was on, but Canner, roller coaster ride of emotions with Canner. I said he was one of my favorite players coming into last year. He was a ride or die Knicks guy. And, like, if what he says was true, then he wouldn't really care about if this team doesn't really fit his agenda for his personal accomplishments. I get it's his career, and it's a fair analysis of what he needs to do. But, like, if you're really ride or die New York, if you're really the team guy, Knicks guy, you would understand that this isn't about winning.
Exactly.
It's really about you. It's about, developing a culture, developing a team. And, you can knock Fizdale all you want, but, like, he's trying to do that at the very least. And, just because Canner may not be part of that, like, he doesn't need to go, complaining to the media at every opportunity he gets. It just seems to be, like, tiresome after a while. Like, we get it, dude. Like, I'm sorry that this team doesn't really fit your agenda, but it is what it is.
This is what he signed up for, right? When you opted into the deal, this is what you signed up for, man.
Facts. Sorry, I'm sorry that you know that you're not going to get that contract elsewhere.
Facts.
You opted in. You wanted the money. You're going to tank with us for a year. You're going to be the co-captain of the tank, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Driving that sucker right.
The lieutenant of the tank.
Yeah, right. You're gonna drive that right up Second Avenue, bro. That's what we're gonna do.
They got to come to a resolution to this. There's no need in having him around. You know, I thought when we got rid of Noah's bum ass, I thought we were done with all the drama. But it's just too much drama with Cannon, man. We need to cut ties with him. Whether we can get an asset for him would be great. But if not, it is what it is. Next call, Ari from Manhattan wants to talk about Frank Iso and the trade deadline. Ari, how you feeling, bro?
Hey, happy MLK Day, guys. I'm feeling good. How about you guys?
Same to you, man. Feeling good, man. Definitely.
Yeah. So, all right. So, first of all, you know, with the callers, about the Fizdale thing, how he, you know, like I've been saying this before, he is tanking, and he's cloaking the tanking in like teachable moments for people. But you know, think about it this way: like we're fans, we want the Knicks to win as much as possible. You know, and have the best future ever. He even feels more about that. Like, Fizdale cares the most. He has probably the biggest interest in the tank out of all of us because, you know, he needs to get talent on his team. So, you know, he can't come out publicly and say, yeah, we're tanking. You know what I mean? So what he says is he puts Tim Hardaway Jr., the worst defender, on Bradley Beal in the last play of the game. And
go get him, kid.
Cloaks the tank as a teachable moment for Tim Hardaway Jr., even though he's been in the league for like 7 years. You know what I mean? So I think we got to get more cynical with this because I definitely think Fizdale's 100% tanking. You know, he's just basically saying, I'm trying to teach the young guys and put them in situations. And you also have to remember with Fizdale, he wasn't brought in for X's and O's. He was brought in for free agency. He's a player's coach. That was the reason why they brought him in. You know, if they wanted an X's and O's guy, they could have gotten Budenholzer or someone else who was, you know, from the Popovich tree you know, who knows the game, the X's and O's better. You know, they wanted Fizdale because, you know, LeBron backed him, Dwayne Wade backed him, players like playing for him. And, you know, the whole end goal is free agency, like I said. You know, so I don't think people should expect Fizdale to be, you know, the reincarnation of Greg Popovich or something like that. But I think come, you know, free agency time, I think, you know, he will hopefully, you know, the goal is for him to be able to have some pull with these big name guys.
Good points.
So,
good points, man. Jake, what do you think about that? About what Ari said?
Ari's 100% right. I think coaching is important if you don't have players, but players are obviously more important than coaching. I didn't have a lot of respect for Spoelstra for a very long time because he kind of came across as a bit phony, like a little bit Miami. Yeah. And like coaching the super team Heat to the championship, like I didn't mark that up as a coaching, you know, superstar. I marked it up to 3 superstar players playing together with incredible basketball IQs and able to cloak for coaching mistakes. And I think that if Fizdale ends up being a selling point for New York and we end up, with KD and Kyrie because they want to play with Fizdale, Fizdale did his job, you know? Like, he may not be the X's and O's guys. I sure don't think he is. But if he can get superstars here, it'll cloak for bad coaching. Like, the Knicks are not going to be bad in the Eastern Conference if KD happens to walk over to New York. Like, that's just a fact. We're going to be a playoff contender, borderline championship contender from day one if that happens. And if Fizdale's the reason why that happens, all the better. Like, I'm not going to complain at all. And I'll actually sing Fizdale's praises if that happens. Still don't think he's a great coach. He can't do what Brad Stevens does with the Boston Celtics. But if he can get players over here, that's definitely a skill within itself. If he gets superstar players, caters to their egos, which they certainly have, I'm all for that. Yeah,
that's a fair point. There's a fair point that what Ari came up with. You know, maybe it could have been also a PR move by the Garden going with Fizdale over Budenholzer. I thought Budenholzer was going to be the guy. But listen, I'm still happy with Fizdale. I want to see how this plays out. I want to see what happens when we get more players here. But good points, Ari. What's your points on Frank and Iso?
Yeah. Okay, so with Frank and Iso, you know, it was good to see Iso get back in the swing of things and, like, at least, you know, not be horrible. I think this was probably the best game since he signed that 2-year contract and since he came back from the injury. So that was good to see. With Frank, the thing about Frank is like I don't think he's a good really basketball player, but everyone always talks about his defense. So I thought personally I think personally we as Knicks fans overrate his defense, but today was one game where you could really see his defense really his defense was very, very good today. He was +3 overall. He clamped down Paul George, who's top 10 player. He clamped down Russell Westbrook to a certain extent, who's also an arguably top 10 player. So I think with him, I don't know if his offense is ever going to really come around. I'll be honest with you, I really don't. But if he could be, I'm talking about an all-NBA defender, then he's got value. My whole thing was, I think his defense, I think he's a good defender, but I don't think it's good enough to offset his deficiencies on offense. And today was a game where I actually think, his defense did. And obviously the plus-minus kind of, said he did.
Yeah.
He actually, his defense was so good at this point that it kind of he was useful being on the court. So that was a good thing to see also. So I'm very happy to see those two things. But, my biggest concern right now, forget Tisdale, forget all this, is this trade deadline, man. What are we going to do? Because, we have, I'm telling you, the number one goal of this entire season, besides Kristaps and me, is at the minimum getting rid of either Lee or Hardaway. At the minimum. So,
those are the two harder ones, though, man. That's the problem. Those two trades, I think, in terms of priority, I would say, yeah, you're right. But those are also the two most difficult ones to make. Without putting an asset on top of it.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think you have to put an asset on top of it. I do. I really do. And you know what? Honestly, I think that Noah Vonleh outplayed his time here. And listen, I called him before. I said I want to keep the guy, and I do want to keep the guy. But you have to understand, he's just it's like a friendly fire casualty. He's out. We're not going to be able to. I don't know if it's worth it to take up more money in long term. And I think for example, I think Philly, Vonleh and Courtney Lee would be very good for Philly. They get more shooting with Courtney Lee. They get a good 1 through 4 defender with Vonleh. We'll take.
Go ahead, Ari. Sell him, Ari. Elton Brand, are you listening?
Yeah. I don't think
get Elton Brand on the phone.
They're competing now. They need to make a push, and they need some more shooting, and they need some more defensive bodies, and they have the cap situation where they could take on Courtney Lee or Tim Hardaway. They could get more of a shooting spark off the bench. I don't know, but whatever it is, if you have to get rid of Vonleh, if you have to catch Vonleh or Moutier or Vonleh and Moutier, it doesn't matter. You have to get rid of, at the minimum, one of these guys. And I would honestly try to do whatever I can, because I agree with what JL has said, to get rid of both of them. And if that means to get rid of Vonleh, and that means get rid of Moutier and Trey Burke, and honestly, even Frank, I would have to do it, because I think that if you open up 2 max spots, it is guaranteed that we're going to get big time free agents. If you open up one, it's a risk.
Yeah.
But
all right,
that's what I think.
Appreciate the call, man.
What do you guys think
points,
about that?
Man. Good points.
Guys, I like that idea, by the way. Packaging a guy like Vonleh, who is an asset, and he is a guy who is overplaying in a contract year, which is a bad combination for the Knicks, because we don't need to go out spending money on guys like Vonleh when marquee free agents are becoming available. So packaging a guy like Vonleh to ship off a guy like Courtney Lee or Tim Hardaway Jr. is definitely the move. If the front office, Steve Mills isn't, but Scott Perry, my guy, met him, super nice guy, super awesome dude, who I have faith in. If he is really as savvy as people like to talk him up to be, he would try to pull a trigger on something like that. Because I think that Vonleh has a lot of value in this league.
Only thing, and shout out to everybody in the chat once again. I see the chat opining on this topic as usual, getting involved. I see free agency. To me, I've bailed from that free agency pipe dream, because we just seen it so many times, man. I've been a Knicks fan
you can't bank
over
on
25 years, and nobody comes here. Say what you will about Melo. Melo was the only one of stature, of caliber, that said, I want to be here. I want to come
to
New York.
We also didn't do that right either, though.
Didn't do it right. For him. Yeah, we bailed.
Got rid of a lot of assets for that.
We got anxious, and you know, it was a chess match, and we lost. But
I mean, that was a James Dolan thing, though. That was it, like that at James, because Donnie Walsh was building this team up, and we had a lot of good pieces in place. And if we just waited it out, got mellow, and didn't get rid of, you know, all four of Raymond Felton, Wilson Chandler, Danilo Gallinari, Timothy Moskov, and draft picks, we would have been so set.
Dolan,
like today would be a different story.
They bit. They bit. And
you know, James Dolan always prioritizes selling tickets. So so he forced Donnie Walsh's hand. Donnie Walsh made that trade, and then he resigned like a day later.
Yeah, basically. The Vonleh trade to Philly, if Philly were to take that, I would do it with that Chicago second rounder that Philly has, because at least it's not all the way down in the second round. You're not getting a first rounder for him. You're talking about second round. So if you can get the top, you know, 5 pick in the second round, you might have a good chance to land in a good rotational piece. And if you look at our track record for these second round or undrafted guys, we're getting some talented players in here. Courtney Lee, another one, 2 years left on the deal. I don't see that happening without you putting together an asset on top of that. And unless we get a guarantee in free agency, I'm not even quite sure you even want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even sure you even want to do it. The Timmy deal, forget about it. That trade kicker, nobody's paying that. And nobody's paying that on. Nobody wants him that badly. That's going to do that.
Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, he only has this year and next year on his contract, so it's not like a complete loss for a team to get him. But the Knicks are going to have to take a hit in order to, like, we're going to have to get rid of somebody useful to just get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr. So you know, he's like an albatross.
Yeah,
it's just. Nothing's happening with Tim Hardaway. He's not going anywhere.
I don't see it, man. And who else we got? We got Lee, Vonleh, Timmy. This Canner thing, we'll see what happens with the Canner thing. Maybe they can squeak out a late second rounder for him, but maybe he just gets bought out. I don't see anything happening at the trade deadline.
It's tough to imagine. I don't see us trading. I could see us either trading or buying out Canner just to get his ass off the team because he's annoying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we're not going to get assets for Canner. We'd be lucky to get like a second round draft pick from the Warriors to get Canner or something like that. You know, it's not going to be anything that's going to be a big difference maker. I would still do that in a second because we saw what second round draft picks can be with Mitch Robinson and Alonzo Trier. But at the same time, like, if you're expecting, you know, a late first for Enes Kanter, you got your mind.
I don't see that. And somebody in the chat, and shout out everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button. I see 137 people, probably 150 people in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Hit that thumbs up button, that like button to support the show. When was the last time you even remember a blockbuster trade happening in the NBA, man? Like, when was the last time there was like a crazy trade where you were just like, oh, whoa?
Last year was Boogie Cousins. I
guess.
But it's funny how that worked because, you know, the Sacramento Kings traded Boogie Cousins for Buddy Hield and a little bit of, you know, scraps here and there, some draft pick options. And
Buddy's having
everybody
a good year.
thought that the Kings literally got ripped off in that trade, like, beyond compare. Like, they literally thought they lost that trade. Now you look back on it, the Kings came out on top in that trade.
It was a good trade.
Because they knew that he wasn't going to resign with them. And then they got Buddy Hield, who's averaging 20 points per game this year on good percentages. And then they also got another draft pick, which turned into, I want to say, Harry Giles for them, I'm pretty sure. Or I think it was Harry Giles.
Yeah. I think it was. It was that same draft where they had Fox. They had 3 draft picks that year, right? They had Giles.
They had 6, 10, and 15, I want to say.
Yeah, they had the guy from North Carolina, the skinny kid from North Carolina, Justin Jackson.
The kid that aced Phil Jackson's triangle test.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know, my brother has the joke that the Sacramento Kings screwed up that draft to high heavens because they drafted Triangle and Kneecap. Triangle Justin Jackson and Kneecap being Harry Giles because he tore his ACL about 70 times.
Damn. The last real blockbuster trade I can remember was probably Ray Allen for Gary Payton, man. I'm talking about like trading players still in their prime. I think that might have been the trade, man. I think that might have been the trade, sending Ray Allen to Seattle and Gary Payton to the Bucks. That one, I remember like hearing that trade. Like, damn, that's a crazy trade, man.
Yeah, in terms of like, players for players as opposed to players for assets.
Yeah, I'm talking about like prime player for prime play. You don't really see that anymore.
You don't see prime play like even in like the Kyrie Irving trade. Kyrie didn't get traded for a player. Kyrie got traded for draft picks.
Yeah, right.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right on that one. Nowadays, you're seeing it all over the place. Whether it be Jimmy Butler, Zach LaVine, Kyrie, like they're getting traded or Oladipo or something like that. These guys are getting Paul George. Like these superstars are getting traded for guys with a high ceiling. And the Knicks tried to pull that off with Melo, but Melo was a little bit more past his prime than a guy like Paul George or Jimmy Butler. So all we could get in return was Enes Kanter, which still wasn't a bad haul in the grand scheme of things.
True indeed, man. All right, back to the phones. We got Chris, we got Dion, we got Julian. Oh, we got a lot of people on the phone. All right, so we're going to run through it. Chris from Texas wants to talk about Fizdale and how he's playing Kevin Knox. Chris, how you feeling, man? Is this your first time calling, bro?
Yeah, it's my first time. How you
doing,
doing,
man? Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the channel.
Appreciate it, man. I'm a big fan of the show. I just wanted to touch on, what I'm saying, David Fizdale and how he's playing Kevin Knox, man. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. It's like this guy's just afraid to give Kevin Knox the ball. You know what I'm saying? He got him sitting in the corner, and every time he does give him the ball, he's coming up the exact same play every single time. Coming out the corner, dribbling up, coming off the curl to the elbow. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, this guy has no imagination. And me personally, I don't think it's a coincidence that every time David Fizdale gives Kevin Knox the ball, you know what I'm saying, he goes off for 26, 22, 31. You know what I'm saying? He put up 31 against a good Eastern Conference team. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this guy doing? He has no imagination at all.
That's one of the things fans knock him for is lack of offensive creativity and especially with Kevin Knox. You know what I mean? I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, but you would think that after a showing like Philly, like he would start deferring to Kevin Knox a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like putting the ball in his hand, letting him be aggressive. You know what I mean? Let him take more shots. Like, seriously, why is Tim Hardaway Jr. and Emmanuel Mudiay taking more shots than Kevin Knox when he's more efficient than both?
Well, Timmy's a ball hog. I mean, that one was easy. And listen, Mudiay trying to reestablish himself, man. And so I think Fizz's take on, the transitional nature of a lot of these players, it does negatively impact this team. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, as fans, we can see it as a coach. You know what I'm saying? You're sitting on the sidelines, and your job is to develop these players. And you see every time you put the ball in this kid's hands, he does something special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you give him the okay to be aggressive and take more shots, like he turns into something like, wow, we got him at the 9th pick and he's only 19. Wow. But then, you know what I mean? Like games like today, you only let him take what, like 6 shots, 5 shots?
Today he took. Let's go to the stats real quick. Let's take a look at Kevin Knox's stats. Shout out everybody in the chat. Kevin Knox's stats for today.
3 for 8, 2 for 3 from downtown.
2 for 3. Okay.
But no, he was 3 for 8 from the field though. So yeah, he didn't get that many shots up. But yeah, I don't disagree with your point though. I mean, a lot of our offense to me, and I've been watching basketball. I played basketball. Like I love the game, just like a lot of people do. But to me, it just seems like a lot of playground basketball with Fizdale. Like I don't see a lot of like creative offensive schemes getting drawn up, which is part of the thing about Fizdale that worries me. So I'm with you on that. And the way he uses players, it's like I said in the last show, it's kind of like D'Antoni, but without like a superstar point guard. Like he's trying to use Mudiay like D'Antoni used Steve Nash or James Harden, who's like a super like MVP caliber players. So they're high IQ basketball players that make the right moves and can put the ball in the basket at extremely high rates. Fizdale tries to do that similarly with a guy like Mudiay, but Mudiay is not that good. And then it takes the ball out of guys that, can actually make differences hands, whether it be Knox or finding Cornette on the perimeter. Cornette didn't do anything today. Or just finding guys open and it's less scheming guys open and more like it's more like good plays on the playground. That's kind of the way I kind of see this offense move sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, listen, hopefully with some more stability with the roster and as the seasons progress, hopefully we'll see some more creativity there, man. Appreciate the call though, Chris.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. You fellas have a good day.
You too, man. All right, next up, Dion from Park City wants to talk about Fizdale and his rotations. Dion, where's Park City at? Is that Florida? Where's Park City, Utah?
Nah, that's Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Okay. All right, yeah, man. First time calling?
Yeah, first time caller. Always watch the show. I don't really get to catch it live a lot, but I always watch the channel, man. Y'all do a good job up there, man. Shout out to Jay Ellis. I know he ain't there, but you know what I mean? I always catch him up there with you.
Thanks for the support, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But yeah, I wanted to talk about Fizz, and I know a lot of the things don't really seem like it makes sense, but I really think he coaching like how you coach a high school team, man, who rebuilding. You got a bunch of good freshmen and sophomores, and then you got some seniors who they leaving and they stink. So you let them do whatever they want to do, like Tim Hardaway Jr. You send them out there. You know what I'm saying? You let them vets play because they're gonna lose the game anyway. Yeah. And you coach the young boys hard, man. The only way you scare young boys with the bench, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way they learn, yo. So when you see Frank not playing, granted, I like what I see from Frank, because those shots he missing this year, he wouldn't even take last year. That little heavy with the cross and get to that mid-range, fall away, that's a good shot for him.
I just think Frank,
that left hand and right hand,
yeah, I think Frank ultimately needs to learn to be more crafty given his limitations. You know what I'm saying? He can't beat guys one-on-one off the dribble. He's going to get his shit thrown. He's going to get smacked. You've seen it all the time.
Exactly.
He has no moves, but he still has size. And if he's playing that guard position on some nights, he's going to have size advantages over players. He just has to find his groove, man, and find the moves that will still allow him to be effective on the court.
Yeah, but you notice he goes to basically he got 3 moves which he's going to all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're good shots, but over the summer, his 3 is gonna get better. The form is better than last year now, so it's only right that the shot fall next year.
Yeah.
So that's what I think with Fizz. I think he really with the vets because if you let them vets play 30 minutes, they're gonna lose the game. So the tank is on anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, I remember it was a stretch in the 4th quarter, and it was 6 minutes left, but we had Mitchell out there, Knox, Frank was out there with Dotson, and I believe Trier. That lineup, man, that's when we go on a run, and you see it all the time. When you put those young guys in, we go on a good run. And honestly, if he played those dudes more minutes, man, we'll be winning 3. We'll be up 3 or 4 more games than we are right now. So he can't let those guys play so much, and he could use it as a learning experience, like the other caller was saying earlier. You use that time to teach them hard lessons, but when you come to coaching, it's sometimes where you be like, yo, I should take that dude out for that, but I can't because we're gonna lose. He don't have to worry about that right now. You know what I'm saying? He could take him out for making a mistake and lose the game, and it's all still good.
True. Good points, man. Good points.
Yeah. No, the caller makes a lot of big facts, a lot of big fact points, because I will say this. One of the things I do say a lot about Fizdale is that his whole shtick for coaching reminds me a lot about high school ball. We all played it. You scare your players by sitting them on the bench and calling them out a little bit, maybe in front of the team, and, put him on public notice, I'm not happy with the way he's playing, so he sits on the bench, making a statement, get your juices going, so when you finally get the opportunity to get back, you get a little bit hungrier, and then you kind of take that energy and roll forward. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is a pretty, early coaching mindset. I don't think it's NBA caliber coaching necessarily, but I will say this about Frank. He had a great point about Frank, and it's development does not happen overnight. People think that Frank is going to be, the 4-point-a-game scorer that he was last year, and turn into a 15 to 18 point scorer, averaging 18
not
and
patient
8 or
enough.
something. That's not happening. But what you do see out of Frank in the development department, like, he was not crafty at all last year. Every time he had the ball in his hands, he started shaking.
Yeah.
He was turning the ball over. He had no idea what he was doing.
Chris Brickley taught him some moves, man. Chris Brickley taught him some moves.
And now he's like a little bit crafty. He's got that hezzy. He can take it inside. Like, and then when he stretches out in the length, like, you see how long his arms are. He can do a lot of things. And, like, if he can ever put it together, he's going to be a serious problem. I don't think people give him enough of an opportunity, including
I'm not bailing on this kid. I'm not bailing on this kid. Somebody in the chat, I think .5 had said, if we get Ja Morant, it's over for Frank. I don't see it that way either. I don't think it's a zero-sum game when it comes to Frank. I don't think it's either starting point guard or nothing. I think he could be a backup. Maybe he could play the off ball, maybe, if his shot gets a little bit better. I just think he has the tools that if we stay patient and allow him to put it together, allow the coaches to coach him up, I think he will fill a role on this team. I'm not saying what his ceiling is going to be. I think he can fill a winning role on this team when the talent complements, when the talent is there to complement his skill sets. You know what I mean?
I mean, worst case scenario is kind of like, he plays out his rookie deal, like a 3-4 year contract, depending on if we pick up the option or whatever.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't develop as quickly. But we have seen that Frank can make some winning plays. Like, he's a smart player. Mm-hmm. He may not be that aggressive, but he doesn't make a lot of mistakes in general. Like, he makes good passes. He plays good defense.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't play or exceed his role in the 4 years that we give him, and then we offer him like kind of a cheaper deal for another like 3 years, put him in a backup role, see if he could develop a little bit. I mean, he's 20 years old, so it's kind of hard to make assessments on like where he can go or what he will be. I mean, I don't think anybody can say but he has tools, and I still believe that Frank has a very high ceiling in general.
The same here, man. All right, Julian. Julian's on the line. Julian, you're late, man. You're usually first, man. What happened, man? What'd you have, school today, man?
Nah, I had all. But, today was a great day for the tank. It was a great day for... That's the only thing it was a great day for. Other than that, we played terrible. That might have been the worst, probably other than the game in OKC, the worst showing from the Knicks all year long. And
I seen some bad ones before this one, man. This one was it was bad. On a scale of 1 to 10 bad, I give this one a 7. But there've been some 8, 9, 10 bads. There've been some. The Utah game was the worst of the worst. Can't get no worse than that, Julian.
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
The Utah game was the worst of the worst. Worst of the worst. Yeah, man.
But hey, this game, the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, gave us a preview into what the second half of the season is going to look like.
That's what I'm saying.
You look at the lineup. It was.
Go ahead, Julian.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Julian.
All right. So yeah, we had all the young kids out there, and they were doing their thing. By the way, shout out to Frank for clamping up Russell Westbrook and Paul George like simultaneously.
At the same time.
And so you look at it, and by the way, I don't mean to push my Frank agenda too hard today, but Emmanuel Mudiay in 14 minutes, in 18 minutes, in 18 minutes, he had a minus 21 plus minus. And Frank Ntilikina in 30 minutes had a +3 plus minus. So let's just put it, we'll leave that there. As to who I think I should be starting for the Knicks at point guard this year.
I like the way you did that. You're like, put it out there. Just take it for what it is.
Take it for you. Be the judge. You be the judge.
It's like an appetizer. Cleanse your palate a little bit.
That's
Push it around your mouth. See how it feels.
Yeah. But today, I have to say, this is the first time since Alondro Trier got his money that we saw a bona fide, excellent performance from him. 16 points, 6 boards, 8 assists. Yeah, great bounce back from Trier.
10 for 10 from the free throw line. 10 for 10 from free throws. It's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, he's shown the ability. He can run an offense and be a 3-level scorer at the same time, which is like incredible. This kid who's 23 years old or 22 or whatever, he's already shown the ability to be an excellent NBA player, to be a starter level guard in this league in his rookie season, and you love to see that. I have to give I don't know who signed him, whether it was Perry or Mills, but you have to give them credit for acquiring this kid, for being an undrafted free agent.
Yep.
And you saw some things from him at Arizona. Granted, he had excellent talent with him. His 2 best years with Markkanen and DeAndre Ayton as his bigs. Mm-hmm. But you see, he knows how to work with like excellent bigs, and so that gives me so much positivity for his future, because we have the best of those like bigs who can shoot and defend, and that's KP. So I have to say, down the line, I could easily see him being the point guard of the future if we draft a wing this draft, and him and KP running that pick and pop, pick and roll. That would be, an excellent
that'd be nice to see,
and
man. That would be nice to see. You saw he got Mitch going in the pick and roll today, so that'd be nice.
Yep. And so you see how Fizz runs Moutier, sort of like this D'Antoni kind of style. I think, next year maybe, if we don't get a free agent point guard or we don't draft a point guard, I could easily see, Trier get these inflated numbers with him running point guard for the Knicks. I could so see that. Because you look at it, Trier, he's a smart basketball player. Granted, he likes to shoot the ball a little bit too much, and those things can be ironed out.
Yeah.
But you see these things from him that you don't see from many other young players.
He's just got to iron out the facilitating. He's getting there. I mean, today was a nice one. Today was a nice one, but you want to see it on a consistent basis. If he can average, 4, 5 for the second half, that would be nice to see.
Oh yeah, and so you look at it from that perspective, and you have to say, Alonzo Trier was an excellent pickup.
Absolutely.
And also, I want to touch on one thing, which is the trade deadline. I know Ari touched on it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Basically, we need to cut all the dead wood out. We need to get rid of all the dead wood. Some way, somehow, we're gonna have to find a way. Because, you look at that proposed trade with Dallas, if we could finally, find some way to get Dennis Smith Jr. and get rid of Hardaway.
It looks like Dallas and DSJ are rekindling their relationship, man. It seems like they're patching things up. Sounds like Dallas couldn't find anybody for him, so they welcoming him back home. So I don't know. I don't see that happening.
I get what you're saying, but I think Vonleh would be a nice piece for them. And so if we could use that as a sweetener, would you guys be willing to give up a 2022, 2021 first-round pick along with Vonleh and Hardaway to get rid of to get Dennis Smith Jr. and Wesley Matthews expiring? Would you do that?
Protected or unprotected?
Protected. Say top 10.
How high protected?
Would I do a Vonleh, Timmy, and a protected 2021, which would be 3 years from now?
Yes.
I
think that's tempting, man.
This is literally Knicks fan brain just going crazy right now, because we have been burned by that exact situation 10 million times.
No, because we wouldn't protect it. We wouldn't protect it though in the past.
Yeah, protected, and we're also trading away contracts and trading away and getting young talent in return. When in the past we traded unprotected draft picks for big contracts. So this makes a little bit more sense. So I wouldn't be that opposed to this scenario. But just the idea of trading first-round picks to me, I think I have post-traumatic stress. I can never fully sign off.
I don't know if I could sign on with it, man. We've been burned so many times, man. But protected, I might do it, Jake. If you could have tell me we could free up 2 max slots, no guarantees in free agency.
Top 10 protected. You doing that?
Yeah. That's what I suggested.
I think I would. I think I would, because you're basically saying that in 2 years, if we can't make the playoffs in 2 years, then something ain't right.
That's what we said when we brought
something ain't right. Either somebody's not healthy, or we don't get any free agents over the next 2 years, or these draft picks and Knox become terrible.
Listen, as Knicks fans, you got to plan for the worst possible scenario. Like no one thought that we wouldn't be a playoff team after we, made trades for guys like Eddie Curry and stuff like this. But then these guys turn into bums. And then, say you play yourself just out of playoff position. You're the 9th seed in the East, and then all of a sudden you're in the lottery. You get the 13th or 14th draft pick. For all the Monday morning quarterbacks out there that said they love Donovan Mitchell was picked 12th. Top 10 projected. That's going to somebody else. Say we give that to Dallas, and then Dallas gets, a Donovan Mitchell-esque steal with the 13th, 14th pick in the draft to pair along Luka. We'll look like the biggest idiots in the world in that scenario.
Nah, you're right, man. You're right. I mean,
but that's a stretch.
It's hard to pass on it. It's hard to pass on that, man.
I'm acknowledging that it's a stretch. It's totally a stretch. But Knicks fans, you got to stretch it out, because we're the most unlucky, tragedy-stricken fan base in the world right now.
We got to keep it conservative, man. Keep the cards close to the vest.
The Sacramento Kings got it together. The Cleveland Browns got it together. The Cleveland Cavs got a championship a couple of years ago. The Knicks are number one on the list right now. But Cavs tank has been a formidable tank, man. Cavs tank has been a superpower.
I feel like the Kings I feel like the Kings are still the worst franchise in American sports, and I don't feel it's close, because if you look at it, the only reason why they're winning is because they have no incentive to lose, and that's because they got scammed for Rondo. They gave their pick to Boston,
Celtics, yeah,
and so now Boston has Sacramento's pick, and it's completely unprotected. So you look at it, the Kings are definitely still the worst franchise in sports. And
but don't look down.
I wouldn't be opposed to them.
Facts, and appreciate the call, Julian. My fault, man. I had to run it. We got mad calls on the line, but appreciate the call, Julian, as usual. What were you saying, Jake? De'Aaron Fox is coming up, right?
No, De'Aaron Fox, he's a bad dude, man.
Yeah.
He can ball.
He was my favorite college player that season, man. When he was coming out, he was my favorite.
I honestly liked Malik Monk better, admittedly, but no, De'Aaron Fox, he's put it together.
Yeah,
big time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, before we get to the rest, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to go back to what the caller was saying at first, was that today was the worst loss of the season. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but I want to revisit it a little bit just for a second.
Yeah.
I wasn't, gambling on this game. I never gamble on the Knicks because, you're not supposed to gamble on your team because there's too many emotions in there. But if you, going into this game, the 12:30 matinee, coming back from Europe with the, horrible team that we have, going against OKC, who's, low-key really good this year. Paul George is having an excellent
MVP
year. An MVP type year
for Paul George.
And, Russell Westbrook, who everybody likes to say is overrated, is about to average a triple-double for the 3rd consecutive season, which is the most bananas thing in the world. But if I was a gambling man, I would have said that the Knicks were going to lose by no less than 15. They had no shot in this game. But again, I will say this, that we saw the lineups that we want to see. We saw the young guys. And, it's not about losing as much as it is about seeing the young guys in real game scenarios against good teams and rotations that we're going to use moving forward.
Yeah.
And I was actually very I was put in a positive move after this game. I think you – because I'm usually the biggest pessimist. We started the video chat a little bit before we went live. I think you were kind of shocked to see.
I was shocked.
Jake.
Yeah, I was shocked, man. Sun was definitely shining up in Bristol, man. Sun was definitely Bristol, shining up in Bristol.
Listen, it's snowy and icy and cold here, but I'm a ray of sunshine today. I was happy.
Absolutely, man. You want to tell the people what you do, bro? Yeah, it's up to you. All right, no problem. All right, let's get to the player ratings, man, real quick. You said you had liked a couple of guys on the team here. Give me your three guys that stood out to you today, man.
I'm going to go top down. Number one by far for me, it wasn't even close, was Frank. I was blown away by Frank. I thought this game probably could have been his best game of the year. I was incredibly impressed with Frank. I think that he did it on both sides of the ball. If a couple of shots rolled his way, his field goal percentage would have made up. That's the one knock that you can have on him. But he looked good. He looked confident. He was making moves. I was very impressed with Frank today. The second, it's 2A and 2B, and that's what I'm going to leave it at. And it's Trier and Mitchell Robinson. Trier and Mitchell Robinson had it going today. I would put 2A Trier, 2B Mitch Robinson. But those two had it going. Like, I feel like they have a chemistry. I feel like they're kind of tight with each other, and they're starting to get a good feel for each other's games, being that they were both overlooked in the draft, drafted in the same draft, drafted by the same team. I feel like they're kind of tight with each other, and I feel like they're going to come up together, and they're going to keep making progressions together. And I saw that today, and I was kind of excited seeing that. Like, they were working that pick and roll. Mitchell Robinson hustling all over the place, and Trier just looked savvy again. Like, with his assist game, he looked like he was comfortable out there, and especially going against a team like OKC, which is no layup. Like, to step on the floor as a rookie and like go at that team, it shouldn't be overlooked. So 1 Frank, 2A Trier, 2B Mitch.
All right. And that was your 3 today. My 3, I'm definitely gonna go with. I'm going to go with Frank as the third, absolutely. 9 points, 4-12 from the field, 5 dimes. I just thought, there were stark differences when he was in the game compared to Moutier on both ends of the floor. Yeah, it was only 9 points, whatever. But I thought, I look at it based on his previous outings. This season. I thought this was the best game he played. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he can string it together. But I thought defensively, he played up to a level that we saw him play at last year, and I thought that was pretty decent. Secondly, I'll go ISO second. 16 points, career high in assists, 8 dimes. People have been knocking him for his lack of passing or his lack of passing awareness. So I'll go with ISO with the 8 dimes on that one. First, I guess statistically you could go Timmy here. He shot 50% from the field, 50% from 3, 23 points, 3 dimes. Listen, it was a bad game all the way around, but I think statistically you got to put him up there as one of your top players. Coming off of his trend, he was trending downward. After a couple bad outings with the plantar fasciitis, but he seemed to play a little bit better here, man. So those are my 3. I'm going with Timmy, I'm going with ISO, and I'm going with Frank. I'm going with Timmy, ISO, and Frank, man.
Timmy definitely played nice today, but just in terms, in these games, I don't go so much by individual performances, because Timmy did have a good individual performance, but I just go by signs of encouragement for me, and that's kind of what I did my scale on. But no, you're right. Timmy had a good game. I was impressed with Timmy as well.
Yep.
And he was hustling too. He was hustling to get boards. He was following his shot. Got a couple of offensive, kept balls alive and stuff. So Timmy looked nice today.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
So based on that, what are you giving Frank? 1 to 10 off the hip. What are you giving Frank?
I'm gonna get knocked for this, saying that
don't give him a 10 or anything, bro.
But in terms of what I want to see from Frank, I'm grading it on my scale, signs of encouragement. I'm literally giving it an 8.9 today to a 9. He gets an A- for me. I thought he looked so good, and I think that he looked so comfortable, and it's so nice to see him in his element like that. You don't see it very often because he's a little tentative. But if he could rattle off a couple games like that for me, oh, man, I was pumped up seeing Frank today, man. I was all over it.
I give him a 7. Man. Only because the point totals was a little bit down. Like you said, a couple shots didn't go down. But I'll give him a 7 overall. I like the defensive effort. And I'll go 7 for Frank. What are you looking at with ISO? What are you giving ISO on that one?
ISO, I'm going to drop it down a full grade. I'm going to go with a 7.8 on this one. ISO, again, played great. wasn't perfect. You saw the rawness in his game, but in terms of encouragement, again, I see the progression happening, and I see it happening quick. Like, he was coming off, like, the last time he had a decent outing when I was on the show, and he was coming off of a bad stretch, and then he follows it up with a decent performance last time in England, and then he comes up with another one today. So hopefully we see him rattle off a couple of games like we saw him do in the beginning of this.
Yeah. I'm going to give ISO an 8. Like I said, the assist numbers was what I was most impressed about. We know he can score. We know he can score on anybody. We can score with the best of them. The technical foul that they gave him when he hit, not Ruben Patterson, his Dollar Tree little brother, whatever that guy's name is, Patterson.
Patrick Patterson.
Patrick Patterson. There you go. Ruben Patterson, the Kobe stopper. Remember him?
Caught him with that elbow.
Yeah,
that was tough.
He did. They called a technical on that. Like, come on.
That was ridiculous. That was a crazy call. I mean, it clearly ridiculous. Was not on purpose. He was in the middle of the air. He got slapped in the face, and then he brought up his elbow.
I think they're trying to make up for them lousy NFL calls that happened yesterday, man. But I'll give ISO an 8. I'll give him an 8. 10 for 10 from the free throw line. You know, he got his free buckets, 6 boards, 8 dimes. ISO had a good game. Quality of opponent. I think ISO had a nice bounce back game for him. How about Mitch, the return of money Mitch? 4 for 4 today. 6 boards, 2 blocks, 8 points. What are you giving Mitch today?
I'm going to drop him a little bit lower than I did ISO just because, again, he's super raw. But in terms of what you like to see from him and progression, he's going to get a 7.6 for me. Just a little bit below ISO. But in terms of what I look for, an individual performance, he looked nice today. I mean, he's got a lot to work on. Let's not make any mistakes about that. He needs to develop a little bit of a shot. His free throws are a joke currently, but he's got time to work on that stuff. But when it comes to a raw athlete who has a very high ceiling and just an incredible value for us and from where we got him from, Mitch is that. Mitch is it. He gets a 7.5 today. I was impressed with him.
I'll give Mitch a 6. I'll give Mitch a 6. 6 boards, 2 blocks today, 4 for 4. As you said, his free throws he needs to work on. He only shot 1 today, but he needs to work on it overall.
It was a brick. It was like a brick, though. The shit went off the backboard. So it was bad.
It's a tough matchup for all the bigs today. With Garden going up against Steven Adams. None of the bigs had a good game. Vonleh didn't have that great of a game. Cornette didn't have that great of a game. Canner, whether he was upset or not about his playing time, Adams always eats his food. So, Steven Adams is a handful. Did you see Clyde call Steven Adams Aquaman on the telecast, bro? Called him Aquaman.
I actually when was that? Was that in the first half?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was the first half.
See, I listened to the first half on the radio call because my cable was down for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Clyde was on fire today.
Clyde was on fire, man.
Quotes. I actually wanted to make mention of a bunch, but I'm blanking out on them right now. But the second half, he was all over the place. I mean,
Facts.
He was prime time today.
Yeah, man. Lastly, Timmy, what's your grade for Timmy today? I know you said you weren't too impressed with the stats.
No, I was impressed with the stats. No, in terms of individual performance, I'm gonna grade him less on encouragement because we all know how I feel about Timmy. I don't think he's an integral part of our future. I take Timmy for what he is, but today he looked good. And he looked better than Trier for an individual performance. So I'm gonna put him in that 8 range. I'll give him a nice 8.2.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 because it's a typical Timmy performance. Stats wise, assist numbers weren't that great. Defensively he wasn't that great. He did take a charge. He took one for the team. But I still think ISO had a better game statistically, and I was happy that ISO got his assist numbers up. I like to see that improvement in those areas.
Yeah, both of them were nice.
Yeah,
I like them.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, that was the play rating. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Those of you with us on this Monday matinee, we're going to get back to the phones. Shout out John Talento, Matt B, Andrew Wilson, Tack. What's going on, Tack? Tack is all the way out, and he's in Oakland. Sometimes he's in Hawaii. I don't know. Tack, he's like a spy, I think. I think Tack works for the CIA. I think he's the feds. But Tack was tight because
either he's a spy or a traveling nurse or something.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean? Tack was tight that the game started early, man. I don't know what to tell you, Tack. These matinees work perfectly for me, man. I like it, man.
Yeah, I'm not mad. You know, I get the rest of my night after this.
Facts.
It's a good work day.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the new people out there. Robin, what's going on? Drew Brown, watching on the Nick of Time show. Shout out Drew Brown. Delano's in here. Shout out Delano Steele. Happy MLK Day to Delano. Back to the phones. Marcel from Brooklyn was waiting for a while. Marcel, what's going on, man? How you feeling, bro?
It is definitely A-OK. This here is my first caller with you guys.
Sounds good, man. Welcome to the show.
This is my first call with you guys. Thank you so much. Your name?
This is CP. Are you watching the show or are you listening on the Blog Talk Radio?
Well, actually, I saw you guys on Twitter. My Twitter account is at MarcelMyrick70.
Okay. All right.
And unfortunately, people can follow my tweets, and especially you guys.
Nice. Okay. So what's your facts on the team today? What's your points on the team?
Well, my facts on our Knicks tried to going straight to the playoffs and the finals to win for our city and our wonderful communities that we lived in. The truth is, the losing streak, give me a break. They lost to Oklahoma City Thunder this afternoon for this matinee game for Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Carmelo Anthony joining the Thunder? I don't think so, dude. He wants the Knicks. He loves the Knicks so much. Carmelo Anthony, he's so good at this.
Yeah.
He got the three-pointers. He got flip.
Appreciate the call, man. We're not talking Melo, man. Appreciate the call, though, Marcel. All right, next, Cody from Jersey. You want to talk about Frank, the draft, and Von Lee. Marcel, appreciate the call, man. We just had to move the program on because we're trying to wrap up, and Melo is off topic, man. We got to be on topic. Cody, what's up, man?
We could go on forever with Melo.
Facts. Cody, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. Happy MLK Day. So here's the good thing about this loss, right? Mm-hmm. Although we lost, we still won because now we are number 2 on Tankathon. So because
number 2 on the Tankathon.
Chicago won that.
Something to celebrate.
Yeah, Chicago won this afternoon. They beat Cleveland.
Wow! In the battle of the tanks, Chicago beat Cleveland.
Yeah. So Cleveland is going to stay number 1. I don't see us, beating out Cleveland, but. We are definitely number 2 now, and hopefully we can stay number 2 for a while until May, June.
Keep the pace.
So I mean, quick comment. I'm not a big. I think for Ja, I think we all have to just kind of Ja. I mean, he's dunking the ball. He's doing all kind of great things, and I think Dior, in fact, is showing if you have vision, that's like half the battle, right? If you have a vision, the shot will come. But I think. For me to buy, he's like a concrete number 2 right now. He has to lead his team. If he leads his team to like a March, like to Sweet 16, then I think he's definitely number 2. I think
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Definitely beat Cameron.
I'm looking forward to seeing him in March Madness. See what he does.
I think if he shows a good March Madness, I'm not sure about 16, but if he shows really that he's able to play with against top competition, I think he moves over. He's definitely clear number 2, passing RJ. Going back to Frank, not only was he aggressive today, I love the way that he was calling out plays. I love the way that he was telling guys how to get to their position.
He was vocal out there, too. I feel like you could hear Frank out there calling out the plays, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't see that last year. We didn't see that early in the year. But the last few games, you could see him getting a lot more comfortable, just being himself. I'm like, good stuff. And today, I think he showed that he can play. I think when we said that earlier, let's say we draft someone like Ja, like Frank can play with a Ja Morant. Like there's no reason. Like today, Trier had 8 assists, and you didn't feel like that interrupted Frank's flow at all. Like he was able to kind of be like a chameleon and kind of fit into what the game was asking for. So I think he's one of those guys where sometimes I go back and forth. Does Fitz have a belief in Frank? And tonight he played 30 minutes. Like when Frank plays well, I think when Fitz sees Frank playing the way Fitz wants, I think he gets minutes. He gets minutes all the time.
Yo, Caller, let me ask you a question. How do you think Enes Kanter played today?
I think Enes played the way Enes hasn't been Enes for at least a month now.
He's got a lot going on, man. Kanter got a lot going on, man.
Yeah, he has, like, his mind. You can tell Enes is not in the game right now. He's just, his body's there, but he's not really in the game. Yeah. Like, I think for Enes is like a big wake-up call that he's not going to get his 18, 20 million next year. So he's all bothered by that right now.
Reality strikes.
I'm not going to get my money. I'm not going to be an all-star. I'm not going to, put up numbers on this bad team. I think he's just really messed up right now.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really looking out for Enes. I was looking out for mostly Frank, Mitch. I think one thing that you guys said earlier, I think Cornette can do so much more than shoot three-pointers. He had like a turnaround today. He had a couple. I
saw that turnaround jumper was nice. That might have been his only buckets, but that turnaround jumper was impressive. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like he can do a lot more than just shoot threes. And I'm glad he can shoot threes. Don't get me wrong, but he can do so much more than that. But like you guys said, like the offensive schemes are so basic right now that we're not getting a full scope of what guys can do. But hey, guys, we lost, but we won. So I'm not sad.
Cody, what's the report from Westchester, man? What's up with your guy Isaiah Hicks? Are you patiently waiting for Isaiah Hicks to get his start?
27 points. Yeah, there. You guys saw that? 27 points. 27 points.
Okay.
And I want to shout out to Mills for for getting us Noah Vonleh, giving Hicks more time, because when Noah is traded, Hicks is going to come in, and you guys are going to see the work that Hicks has been put. Keep hope alive, guys. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Hey, man, it's quite apropos on this day. Happy MLK Day to you, Cody. And Jake, Cody's the president of the Isaiah Hicks fan club, man. If you just...
I'm about Isaiah Hicks. Yeah. I like Isaiah Hicks. Listen, I mean, he's a Westchester representative. That's where I'm originally from. I grew up about 15 minutes from the Westchester County Center. Yeah. My high school ball team, they won the sectional finals in the Westchester County Center, where the Westchester Knicks play, and been pretty much dominant for the past 5 or 6 years. So, I'm a big fan of the Westchester Knicks, and I've been going to those games ever since the creation of the Westchester Knicks. So I respect the hustle, but I'm also not 1,000% certain that that's not Enes Kanter talking to you on the phone.
Everybody in the chat was like, is that Kanter talking?
I had to ask. I saw the chat blowing up. I'm like, yo, he really does sound like Enes Kanter.
Yeah, man. Nah, Cody's a day one, man. Cody's been supporting for day one. Shout out to everybody who's watching now, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Charles Lassiter, it's all good, Charles. Just a miscommunication. T. Williams in here. John Talento, Matt B. Jet Life for Life. Call me Tack. Shout out to everybody in here. Smash that thumbs up button for you boys. If we got one more call. Jamal from Jersey wants to talk about Fizz and the game. He was at the game. Jamal, how you feeling, man? Well, Jamal, were you a part of that "We Want Raymond Felton" chant at the end of the game? Or were you participating in that chant?
That was hilarious.
That's terrible, man.
That was way on the other side of the side that I was on.
I'm sorry, man. Raphael can't come to the cookout, man. He can't come to the Once a Nick, Always Nick cookout, man. He's not invited.
No, he can't go to the cookout because he'll eat everything.
He'll eat all the time.
Like a snowball.
Raphael come and eat all the food,
from the
man.
game.
Yeah, go ahead, Jamal. Go ahead.
Positives from the game. I got some nice pictures and video, and I bought a nice hat.
Okay.
Cool.
Which one did you get? You got which Knicks hat did you get?
I was looking for the one that you was rocking the Knicks hat. I couldn't find it, but I got a nice blue and orange newer one that I never seen before. But I loved Frank, what he was doing out there. I feel like Frank is the kind of player that can blend in with anybody. I feel like he's a championship player, cerebral. Like he has all the tools it takes, and he's not a selfish guy. He's the kind of guy that you need moving forward, building the kind of team we want to build if we're going to bring in free agents and all that, because everybody can't make $47 million. I think fans forget that.
And he's not the kind of guy like Tree or Tim Hardaway where you can't put him in with this guy. He don't mesh with that guy. I think Frank is going to end up being an outstanding.
And that's the thing, too. It's like everybody, complains about all these Me Too guys. They complain about ISO. They complain about Timmy. They complain about Moutier being selfish. Here we have a kid who is the most selfless, to a fault, the most selfless player on the team. I mean, that could translate into something positive going forward as we continue to build and to continue to build this game.
Right. He's like our Marcus Smart. Like, you need guys like that to win ball games. It's not all scorers. You need different players to do different things and bring different proponents to the game. Agreed. And Frank has it. He just needed a little bit more time and confidence. He'll be fine.
Agreed. Agreed, man.
And far as on another note, I noticed, like, when the team came out to warm up, Cantor just sat down the whole time. There's something definitely going on with him. I don't know if the organization definitely set a line in stone, and it kind of hit him as a reality, and he's just gonna sulk and stuff now. But he was just off to the side, basically doing his own thing. And the Garden was kind of sad today. I had Torres asking me why he's not putting Porzingis in the game. I'm like, what?
Wait, who's asking you that?
Where have you been, brother, man? Come on.
So, like Torres.
It was Torres.
They had a crazy accent. They was like, excuse me, why is Porzingis? I'm like, oh.
My man came all the way from Germany to see Kristaps play. He didn't get the memo.
That expensive trip, and
man.
All to watch like the Knicks B team.
All the way he planned his whole trip from Belgium all the way to come see Kristaps and the gang. Nah, man.
How disappointing? Like,
he
planned the trip like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Like, now we don't got that. We got Luke Cornett though. How about that turnaround jumper?
Mario Hezonja.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah,
but it was definitely a matinee atmosphere. The team gave them no reason early to do nothing. It was kind of like a library. I was highly disappointed, man.
Yeah, it was ho-hum for me, man. I started setting up from the show by like halftime. I was checked out of it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, still encouraged by the youngsters. Mitchell Robinson, once he gets some strength, weight room and stuff in the off season, I feel, and a better point guard, I feel like he's gonna be a terror. I mean, it's coming along. But one question I would just want to ask you guys before we leave.
Mm-hmm.
Why won't he sit Timmy down for young players' development since we control Timmy for longer than we do Courtney Lee? Is it he know Timmy is not as much of a professional as Courtney Lee? Like, I'm just trying to figure that out because Tim had a good stretch today. He didn't have a good game. He started off gunning those deep threes early, and it kind of changed the complexity of the game. Oklahoma was just so much more athletic. It was just run out after run out after run out, and Paul George was just saucing them. And that set the tone for the day.
Yeah, we talked about it. We did the mid-season report. If you guys didn't check it out. Hit that eye icon on your top right-hand side of the screen.
That was excellent. That was excellent.
Appreciate it, man. And yeah, that was one of the things we talked about. You know, what is it with the lack of account? Everybody seems to have been held accountable and put into that Fizdale bench rotation, except Timmy. You know, only thing that has really slowed Timmy down, Jake, is the plantar fasciitis injury. So I don't know, Jake. What do you think about this Timmy thing? You think it's political? I tend to think it's political when you have a guy, you know, with that contract. It's kind of Mills' puppy, his brainchild, and I think politics has a lot to do with it, man. What do you think?
You could definitely look at it and think it's political. I get the what it is. It's tough to have a lot of faith in Timmy because he's shown us two separate sides of Timmy. You know, he has the 14 for 18 Timmy where he scores like 35 points and like he can really fill it up a little bit, but like he's so inconsistent, and more often than not, he's not putting up those stats, and he's not being consistent or efficient or anything, you know, even close to resembling to like an actual NBA player that should be getting the money that he does. And this is a Steve Mills move. Make no mistake. This isn't Phil Jackson. So as far as the politics of it all go, I don't understand what the politics would be other than buyer's remorse.
Well, it's just when you have a guy that makes that much money, man. These type of guys, unless it's like a Popovich or one of those coaches that run the ship and take no BS. You don't see guys like that. They get held to a different standard. Coaches will tell you that.
You're absolutely right.
Coaches will tell you that all the time. In the NBA, you don't treat every player the same. Every player doesn't get treated the same. You know what I mean? You could talk to one player one way and have to, tiptoe around another one because it's egos, it's contracts, it's money. So that's just why I feel like that. I don't know. Could be wrong.
I'm with you on that. Timmy definitely gets held to a different standard. Timmy's relationship with the Knicks is weird. He's like the one that got away that we got back. You know what I'm saying?
That's Mills.
And now we're just like, what did we miss so much about this guy?
Mills missed.
He's not that good. I don't know, man. Timmy's complex with the Knicks, and it's definitely looking like buyer's remorse. I don't see him as a long-term. He'll play out this contract on the Knicks, and we'll probably not bring him back unless he comes back for an eighth of what we gave him for this contract.
Hey, man, time will tell, man. Time will tell. Go ahead, Jamal. Last point.
And I just wanted to say, especially with the plantar fasciitis, I suffer from that, and I heard y'all trying to not knowing exactly what it was last show, CP. Most people with flat feet suffer from it. That's why the insole heel is a big business. If you have flat feet, I can't even be barefooted at no time. I have to put orthotics in the shower when I take a shower. That's how bad mine is.
That's crazy.
And for him to be going through that and still barely missing time, and we're trying to tank, they have to be telling him, get Timmy out there. Let Timmy do what he wants.
Right.
Give him Patrick Ewing old number.
He can't disgrace that, man. That 33 is sacred, man. But I get your point, man. I definitely agree with you. It just appreciate the call, bro. It just is what it is. I just take it for what it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tim Hardaway, he's getting that money. He's gonna be part of a little bit of the future. I think that's what they planned for. Just you have to have him out on the court. If we want to be at our most successful, Tim Hardaway Jr. is gonna be on the floor as a 2 or a wing player, just say we get Kevin Durant, he draws double teams. We're going to rely on Timmy a lot. And listen, I hate bringing up the Kevin Durant thing, but I'm just saying in this scenario that the Knicks are planning for, because they're going through the classic Knicks mindset that we're going to land the marquee free agent. But in the most successful Knicks version of what we can be next year, Tim Hardaway is going to be on the floor, and he's going to be popping those threes. That's just a fact.
I mean, like I said, I just feel like he'll be better when the team gets better. That's what I think. I think you'll see his talent. I think you'll see his value when the team improves. I continue to say that. You can't rely on him to be the number one guy on this team. He's just not that guy.
No, that's a fact. And we are relying on him to be the number one guy, which is mainly the problem. But you even saw with the Hawks, his best years was with the Hawks, and that's because they had a great team system. And, if you find Timmy for open looks, you saw it today. If I think he's 0 for infinity when he shoots off the dribble, but when he catches the ball, if he catches and shoots, he has such and you find him open, he has a nice we all know he has a nice jumper, but he's a knockdown 3 shooter. I don't even want to say poor man's Klay Thompson because that's such a stretch, but he can knock down 3 at an incredible rate from the catch and shoot. Yeah. And if we can find him open more often as opposed to making him a ball handler, it would serve him a lot better.
You need someone that's gonna help collapse the defense. And
keep everybody honest
and get Timmy open. I see people in the chat comparing this Timmy to R.J. Barrett. Well, from what I see from R.J. Barrett, I feel like R.J. Barrett could mix it up on different phases of the court. I see him shoot from the outside. I think he can post up. He bangs a lot more than Timmy did, whether it's college or the pros. I think R.J. Barrett is a more complete player to Timmy. Yes, you can compare him because he's a bit tunnel vision, for lack of a better word for ball hog. But, other than that, I think he mixes it up way better than Timmy did. I think R.J. has a more well-rounded game than Timmy. Offensively,
RJ plays a lot bigger than Timmy does.
Right,
Timmy's a perimeter guy. Yeah. The only time you see Timmy take it in the paint, and he does this excellently, by the way, if you pay attention, he's a great finisher in transition. Like if you find him in stride going up for a layup, he's great at finishing around the basket in that sense. But in the half-court game, if he has the ball, he's not dribbling to get into the paint. He's dribbling to set up a three-point shot, which he nearly always misses. He's horrible at shooting off the dribble. But, RJ, he could take in the paint. He could post up. He plays a lot bigger and stronger than Tim does. That's for sure.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, let's we're going north of the border with this call, man. We got Robin from Canada wants to talk about Timmy. He wants to talk about Timmy, man. Robin, how's it going, eh?
Hey, man, it's going good.
We're in Canada. Alberta, wow. That's crazy, man. How the hell did you become a Knicks fan and not a Toronto Raptors fan or a Vancouver
Dude, honestly, I have no idea. I used to live in Toronto, so I was a Raptors fan, and then maybe 10 years ago, I became a Knicks fan, and ever since then, I've just been obsessed with them.
Nice, man.
Is basketball your number one sport, or are you a hockey guy?
Yeah. Basketball has always been my number one sport. I actually don't even watch hockey.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Outside of the accent, man, you're nothing like a Canadian.
Yeah, I know. You're already like the smartest.
Wait till you hear me say A couple times, then you might notice.
Oh yeah, no, I got mad family up there.
No, the accent's definitely thick, but the accent's kind of nice. I like it.
Is this Robin from the chat? You in the chat a lot?
Yeah, it's me in the chat.
Okay,
yeah.
So salute, man. So what's your takes on Timmy?
Well, on Timmy, I just want to say, like, I really don't understand this guy. When I love Tim Hardaway Jr., I was kind of happy when we brought him back, but, like, some of the shots he takes, it kind of drives me crazy. Like, if let's say, like, we have good ball movement, we kick it to Timmy in the corner for a wide-open three, or we kick it to him on, like, anywhere in the three-point for a wide-open three, he misses it. But when he's contested and there's, like, three guys in front of him, he makes it. That part of him just drives me crazy.
That he's a bad shot shooter, man. We've seen him come and go through this revolving door of Nick rosters, man. Nothing surprising at all.
So that's what worries me about the future, because I feel like he can be a really good third or fourth guy on the team.
Yes,
but he has to show that he can make those open shots once we move the ball well.
I agree. Not a bad point. But you kind of saw that in his rookie year. When we had Melo here. You kind of saw that in his rookie year.
Yeah.
I think he's capable. It's just it's hard to really analyze him this year because his weaknesses are so exposed when he puts himself out there as the top guy.
See, the thing about Tim Hardaway Jr. is that he's best served when he's like hidden.
Exactly.
Because people forget that he has game. Like he's not useless on the basketball court. He's useless as a primary scoring option.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's not him, when you rely on him too heavily. But if you can mask him a little bit and like just have him like float around the perimeter and find open spaces, like he'll ball out for you a little bit and he'll hit the shots. But the thing is like when you rely on him to be a primary scorer, primary option, him and Moody, they suffer from this. They're just inefficient players. Like there's a difference between putting up stats and being efficient. Efficient players win. You could put up stats and still lose. It doesn't mean that the stats they could be misleading. Numbers do lie despite common thought. And Tim Hardaway Jr. and Moutier, they suffer from this when they're getting buckets or like getting a lot of numbers. Sometimes their efficiency suffers, and then the Knicks ultimately suffer because of it. It doesn't mean that they can't hoop. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they're not best served in the role that they're getting.
Agreed on that. Good point, Shake.
And one last thing I wanted to bring up, just to get your guys' take. I'll just leave after this, but I just want to see what you guys think about the defense, because for the last few years, even with Fizdale being the coach this year, I see the same thing, and it's when the opposing team drives into the basket and they they kick it out to a three-point shooter. It's like we're always late to contest that three-point shot.
Defense is horrendous once again, man. Three-point defense is horrendous once again.
Go ahead. Yeah, and if you watch like good teams play, if you watch like any good team like the Bucks or especially the Raptors, you can see the second the opposing team kicks out to three, there's already a man like on his way. His hand's already there by the time they're about to shoot three. I just don't get why it's so hard to teach that to these young guys, and that kind of like I don't know if it's because obviously we're tanking, but even if we do get KP and we do get a marquee free agent or something like that, the question I want to ask you guys is: do you think that the defense will improve? What do you think they need to do in order to just guard the 3-point line?
Jake, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. I will say this: you're not. The thing about the Rockets is like, first of all, you have Kawhi, not the Rockets, the Raptors. First of all, you got Kawhi Leonard, who's the best defender in the game right now. But on top of that, you have a whole bunch of people that are extremely long and extremely athletic, and they have games that best suit today's NBA. Like, this is what I keep saying about the Knicks. Like, in terms of, like, Ja Morant works because he's like 6'6" and long, lanky, athletic. Like, but we don't need to keep bolstering up on guards. Right now, this is an athletic, forward, wing player-driven league.
Yeah, like on the Raptors, if you look at Kawhi, if you look at what's my guy's name that's beasting right now, Siakam, Anunoby, they're almost like Siakam, the same style player.
Like OG Anunoby, IU represent. Like, these guys are all like similar in the fact that they are long and lanky, and they can travel great distances on the floor without, like, they have great size and speed, which is a killer combo for today's NBA. Even when the Golden State Warriors want to lock it down, all of them are fast, all of them are long, and all of them get to their spots, especially when they play small. I mean, you even look at the Indiana Pacers. Like, Sabonis is a low-key decent defender and good at getting out of the perimeter. Victor Oladipo, Darren Collison, Miles Turner, like, they can all do that stuff. And the best teams in the league are the best at guarding the three because they're good at closing out, but like not being suckered into falling for a shot fake, giving up easy baskets. Like, they can mask the defense, and the Knicks just don't have too many of those guys right now. Knox is certainly one of those guys.
But you don't think the coach can help that though? That's my thing. I feel
that's what I was thinking. Why can't the
would
coach
think I'm not a coach, but I would think that the coach is supposed to be teaching these principles to properly get your rotations and get in the right spots through film and through repetition.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that.
Like, we saw the same thing with Hornacek, and we're seeing the same thing with Fizdale. Like, the coach is not even changing the fact that they can't play defense.
But if you look at these teams that we're talking about, like the best teams in the league, like, a lot of learning great defensive habits is going against great offense in practice. So, like, you talk about the Rockets and the Raptors and the Golden State Warriors, and you wonder why they're so good on defense. It's because every player on that team in practice is going against these players that are whipping the ball around perimeter like it's a second nature thing. Like, these guys are so smart that they're always one step ahead of the defense. So you practice against teams like that, then you go against the Knicks, who aren't really accustomed to that. It's like going against a C team defense, it's like going against a D3 defense. You know, it's a different story altogether. And, you know, a lot of that has to do with talent. Like, you can't only blame Fizdale. Like, you know, you get more draft picks on this team. You get a little bit more higher IQ free agent, a higher IQ basketball players on this team, and the ball movement will increase. But it definitely is a coaching thing. Let's not discount that, because Fizdale's definitely at fault.
I'll just finish off by saying that if I was on the opposing team playing the Knicks, oh my goodness, would I drop so many threes on them? My eyes would light up every time.
Factuals, man. Appreciate the call, Robin. Good call, man. Definitely
no problem.
Good call,
Thanks.
man.
I love the show, guys.
Appreciate it, man. That was Robin from the great up north. Go ahead.
CP, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Knicks MLK Day moment?
Oh, man. Do I have a favorite Knicks?
I know I'm catching you off guard on this, but I needed to bring this one up because I do.
When was the last time we had a good one, man? Was it the was the Melo buzzer beater in Memphis? Was that an MLK Day moment? Was that MLK Day?
Melo had a buzzer beater. I think it was against Philly a couple
on
years
MLK?
back. Yeah.
Yo, I don't even remember. Yo, we've lost all of these damn MLK games, man.
I'm going way back from mine. Because my brother and I, we went to a game on MLK Day, and it was the game where the Knicks played the Spurs. And this was like the craziest thing ever. This is 2001 MLK Day. Marcus Camby and Danny Ferry from Spurs, they get into it. And then Marcus Camby, like we had good seats. We just see him wind up. Everybody gets up. Whoa! Like, what's going on right now? Then all of a sudden, you just see Jeff Van Gundy chugging over and then Marcus Camby swings, completely whiffs on Ferry.
And knocks out the coach, man. That was that was up there. I didn't realize that was MLK. And what an matter of fact, it was, because the irony of the whole thing was, the whole MLK and peace and whatnot. And here's Marcus Camby ready to throw a haymaker on Danny Ferry and knock his head off. And
let's not forget,
Van Gundy,
and let's not forget, Danny Ferry's the dude that got fired for saying some racist remarks in the front office.
He did.
Marcus Camby, he probably on MLK Day, I think Danny Ferry was whispering some stuff in his ear.
Yeah, you never know, man. I remember that, man. Camby lost it, and Van Gundy once again ended up right in the middle of it, a couple days after his birthday. That was a good one, man. I forgot that was MLK. It's been so long since we had some good ones.
I was so young. I was 8 years old.
Yeah,
and I remember that. So like everybody just gets up like, oh, like wheels start.
Yeah. I had that on my IG last year, man. I definitely had that on my IG last year. All right, last call of the night, real quick, because we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channels as well, man. All right, Ice, you the last call of the day. You want to talk about Dotson. Thinks Dotson should get more playing time. All right, Ice, real quick, man. How you feeling, bro?
All right, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for getting me in. I try to catch your show, every chance I get, man. You've been running a great show.
Appreciate it.
Peace to everybody in the chat, man. I love what you're doing and everything. That's what I want to ask you. What you think? Like, I feel as though Dotson is pretty good. I think he should get more runs than what he's getting. And he got some nice defense.
Yeah, I like Dotson. I think he's one of our top two-way players, Jake. I just feel like there's only so many guards you could get in there, man. There's only so many guys that can play. I mean, Dotson can play the 2 or the 3, but I mean, when you factor in Knox, you factor in Moutier has to play now. ISO's getting his run. Timmy's there in his spot. They play Mario time. I mean, I think Dotson is getting the proper playing time right now based on how things are set up with the roster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also if you just look at the roster in general, I mean, he's competing for time with Tim Hardaway Jr., the $72 million man, and then also the sweetheart of New York right now, Alonzo Trier. So you have to factor that in. But another positive part about today's game is the fact that Dotson saw 23 minutes. I love seeing Dotson play. I mean, I say it all the time. I'm on this show every once in a while, but Dotson's my guy. He was on the Westchester Knicks. I ran into him. He's a super nice guy. And he could definitely ball. I like seeing him. I
like when they run those plays for Dotson, man. I like when they run those pin down screens for him, free him up and get that mid range jumper. I like everything about his game, man. I like him as a role player for sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So going into next year, do you think it would be a good move, no matter depends on what we get in the draft, that we keep Cheer and Dotson as our backup, like 2 guard and point guard?
Well, and appreciate the call, Ice. Well, it's we got to go best player available, Jake. You know what I'm saying? It's a next man up league. I think Dotson and ISO will be here next year, but the next man that comes up, you saw ISO's impact this year. Look how he impacted all the guards. He pushed Ron Baker out. He's gonna push Trey Burke probably out. It just happens that way.
90 seconds.
I don't know if Dotson. Is his contract up after this year?
They have to. I think they have a deadline to take his player option. They have a team option on him. They have a team option.
I see. Hypothetically, I would love to bring him back, but realistically, he's competing with Trier, who we currently do have under contract. Well, I think he's only under contract for this year. I'm not really sure off the top of my head on the contract situations. I have to look into that. But I think just with Tim Hardaway Jr. on the roster, it limits us. It handcuffs us in general. And for a guy like Dotson, if he becomes an unrestricted free agent, he may see money elsewhere. I mean, we gave Ron stupid ass. I'm getting angry. We gave Ron 3 years, $9 million. I would love to see Dotson's much more well deserving of that, but you also got to factor in he may want to go somewhere else where he could see more playing time and prove himself and get maybe a little bit more money. I feel like a team would pay Dotson a little bit. He's proven that he can play pretty significantly on an NBA level.
I agree, man. And Jake, with that, man, let's hit that wrap up. We're at the 2-hour mark. So go ahead and sign off and promote your channels, bro.
I said it before. Get early action in on the Lennox podcast on YouTube. It's coming to you soon. We're getting it all sorted out, the technical difficulties. You can subscribe now on YouTube, The Lennox, THE space LEKNICKS. Our podcast you can find on Soundcloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere where you get your podcasts at, The Lennox. And then also on Twitter and Instagram is at @the_Lennox. That's THE_LEKNICKS. Thank you all who have been subscribing and all that, and thanks to you, CP. I love doing these.
My man, appreciate it, man. And like I said, we're gonna have Jake on more often. Jake, appreciate it. Thanks for everybody for tuning in tonight, man. It was a tough loss once again. Knicks lose 127-109. But hey, listen, one more for the tank. As Cody Emanuel said, we're in second place on the Tankathon, and that's what it is right now. Next game is Wednesday against the Rockets. Oh, let's hope Harden don't drop 60 on us, man. But
I think Harden may break Will Chamberlain's record.
I hope not, man. I hope not. But follow me, Knicks Fan TV, Facebook,
breaking
Instagram.
news, real quick.
What up?
Carmelo Anthony going to the Bulls.
To the Bulls?
Yup.
What?
You heard it here first. Woj said it.
To the Bulls.
Considerations. But it's about time. Now Bulls fans can see what they've been missing out on.
Crazy, man. So Melo to the Bulls. Y'all heard it here first. Replay of the live stream will start at 8 p.m. Eastern time, running through the night as y'all know it. Podcast form, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. The merchandising store is up. Click the link in the video description. Knicks Fan TV merch. Get that Money Mitch shirt. It's hot off the presses. We got the logo shirt. More hot designs are coming this year, man. So, hey, man, once again, appreciate the support. Yao Song, Lenny Qis, appreciate it. John Doe. They call me Tack, appreciate it. Who else, man? Who else in there? Ace Bez, appreciate you. Robert, appreciate it. T. Williams, Knicks Fan TV Dave, appreciate it. Daniel Bossejor, appreciate it. It sounds like a French name. It's me, Darryl Walsh, checking in from Ireland, and one of our past statement games winners. Darryl Walsh, appreciate you, man. Melo to the Bulls, really? Maybe. I mean, they have to just be getting rid of him for him to sign elsewhere because he's still with the Rockets.
I feel like Melo can be Melo on the Bulls because they don't really care and they don't really have go-to scorers like that. And I mean for whatever Melo is, I don't think he's taking the Bulls to the playoffs. And Melo could be. I just want to see Melo be happy, man.
Me too, man. He deserves it, man. He deserves it, man. So on that note, thanks again, everybody. Point 5, appreciate you. G, appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you guys Wednesday, Knicks Rockets, man. So you guys take it easy, man. Peace.
Gonna keep on